states will do all things possible to declare their cities as in that city now everybody has been taken care of, and I mean whatever sanction housing has been sanctioned, that has been completed and completed to the best of the people's satisfaction. So that's what we are working on, and I'm sure this all these measures is helping the economy, helping the real estate sector, and helping the individual, basically our citizens, because citizens have to become happier, healthier, and I mean all of different schemes under my ministry, whether it is Swachh Bharat Mission, Atal Mission for rejuvenation and urban transformation, Smart City Mission, National urban, this urban livelihood mission. All these things are pointed towards bringing ease in their life, bringing making them a better place to live, so that they contribute the better and they become very productive part of the Indian economy. I close this requesting and urging everybody to help us. Currently, we are passing through a difficult time. COVID has come back. The numbers are growing, but it is not a matter of worry. We already have all the facilities. We already have all the wherewithal. Just a matter of question of keeping patience, maintaining COVID appropriate behavior, and helping everybody to cope up with the COVID. And I think, I mean, this will also pass off. We passed off the earlier wave very successfully. It was praised across the globe. This wave also will pass off. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mishra. Some of the questions we had posed for you, you have answered in your remarks. And there are a number of other questions we have. Sir, do we have about 20 more minutes?
Okay, let's take 15 minutes. Say I'll close by say 10:45.
All right. Yes, sir. That's what we will do. Sir, the first question is from A. Mahajan and wants to know what is your view on private sector participation? Are you satisfied with private sector response to your schemes?
Definitely, because the private sector plays a very, very important role. It has played a very important role under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Let me tell you, this is under the Credit Linked Subsidy Scheme. Credit Linked Subsidy Scheme. This scheme is being run through the banks, and for the first time in the country, we also included middle income group people. This was done in the December 2016 when the Honorable Prime Minister made an announcement. Those up to the income of 18 lakh rupees per annum, that means 1.5 lakh rupees per month. This scheme has done wonderfully well, and most of the houses are coming from the private sector. I mean, whether it is economically weaker section, lower income group, or the middle income group, they have to, I mean, apply to the bank, and through the bank, once they apply for a particular size of the house, particular cost of the house, they get a subsidy. The subsidy is paid upfront in their account. It is to the direct benefit transfer. I mean, once all these things, we have got a clap. We have created a kind of a app through which once this application is there, bank has already approved it. It has seen that the person is eligible in all manners. Then the money which goes from the National Housing Bank to the concerned bank to the branch, it gets credited in the account, and the person concerned, his EMI is reduced by say around 2,500. I'm just saying 2,500 because in some cases 2,600, some cases 2,300, depending on the which income group you are in. The progress under the Credit Linked Subsidy Scheme, let me share with you. So far, we have already sanctioned 6.15 lakhs houses to the middle income group. And we have already sanctioned almost 10 lakhs to the economically weaker section and lower income groups. That's 16 lakhs houses in the last 5 years. And you may be aware that during the Atmanirbhar Bharat announcement, when the Honorable Finance Minister was making during the when we are coming out of the lockdown, when the Atmanirbhar Bharat was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister and various things were being announced, one of the announcement by the Honorable Finance Minister was to give 18,000 crore to the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and also extend the subsidy to the middle income group, and it was kept a target of 2.5 lakhs to be done by March. We have already surpassed that. The second is under the Affordable Housing Complexes Scheme, which is again doing quite well. Under the Affordable Housing Complexes Scheme, total number of houses sanctioned so far is already about 23.3 lakhs. And the private sector, it is not 100% private sector. They have also contributed to that because it is under the partnership, public sector or the private sector. They have also participated. Apart from this, private sector plays a very, very important role in addressing this whole issue. In fact, the N number, I don't have time to share with you the kind of reforms which my friends from NAREDCO and CREDAI or various other people who are associated in the real estate sector, they are aware the kind of reforms which have been done under the real estate sector. It is this kind of reform over a period of 5 years, it has never been done, and it started with RERA to make sure that the people, I mean the home buyers, they get a confidence of what they're buying, for what amount they're buying, and when they are supposed to get that. All this confidence was restored through the RERA. So I think the private sector has to play a very, very important role, and I will keep requesting them to keep playing this role because this role is important for our Indian economy. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, the next question is from Pace Singh. This is about rental housing segment. You've been very passionate about affordable rental housing, and you personally pushed that. What is your expectation in terms of the potential for this over the coming years in terms of number of units?
Well, the potential is very high. I mean, there is absolutely, in the urban area, normally people are quite mobile. They are moving from one place to another place. Even in the city of Delhi, people move from east to west and west to north, like that they keep moving. And when you keep moving, you cannot afford to keep your house permanently at one place. The rental becomes a better option. And I think initially to start with, because this was started only last year in the month of July, and we have kept a target of 3 lakhs, out of which I shared that 80,000 demand has already come, more than 4,000, another 4,000 plus 2,000, more than 6,000 under the model 1 is already come. So we are targeting around 3 lakhs by 2022, but I think it has got a huge scope. Once this model tenancy law is there and the states legislate that, I'm sure the rental is going to become very, very important segment. There was a study by IMF in the year 2016, and they have estimated the rental residential market. I'm saying rental residential market in 2016 IMF study is $20 billion. That is 1.5 lakhs crore. Now, if you take this residential, you are aware that the commercial is equally important. I mean, the people take shops and various offices and various things on the rental. If I just double it, say 50% more, so it becomes like 3 lakhs crore in 2016. That was the estimation of IMF in the year 2016. And the time to come, the way our urban areas are growing, I think rental market is going to be really become very robust, very, very important market, and a lot of players are going to come in. I'm hoping for the model tenancy law to get a shape into, shared with the states, and the states to get them legally notified. Once that is done, I think this is going to open up a new segment of market, a very, very important market.
Mr. Mishra, the next question is from Jagjeet Patnaik. He wants to know what are your targets for housing or the Housing for All mission for fiscal year 21-22 and 22-23?
Well, fiscal year 21-22, I said that we have already sanctioned the number of houses, the gap which was assessed. We have sanctioned more than that. Now our target is to complete these. As I said, we have already sanctioned 112.52 lakhs houses. Out of them, only 80 lakhs have been grounded. The balance around 32 lakhs houses are yet to be grounded. So focus is going to be ground them. The focus, we have already completed 48 lakhs houses. Out of the 80 lakhs houses have been grounded. That means the focus will be to ensure that the balance these 32 lakhs houses are completed in an accelerated manner. And our recent announcement of 100-day challenge, which was instituted very recently, if you have followed on our tweets or on our news from the ministry, the focus is completely do it execute it and execute it well within this time frame of next 1.5 years.
Mr. Mishra, we had a number of sessions yesterday, and there was a lot of appreciation for government initiatives like, Pradhan Mantri Yojana, CLSS, GST reduction, etc. There were a couple of questions people wanted us to ask you. One was, what is your perspective on increasing, or expanding eligibility for affordable housing, both in terms of income as well as price?
I couldn't get you. Can you repeat it, Alogi?
Yeah, sir. They wanted the delegates yesterday wanted us to ask you about your opinion on expanding eligibility for affordable housing, both from a income criteria as well as from the pricing of the unit criteria.
Well, I cannot comment on that because these are the policy matters. But see, right now we have already taken income up to say 3 lakhs, which is the economically weaker section, up to 6 lakhs, which is the lower income group, from 6 lakhs to 12 lakhs, which is the middle income group, group 1, and from 12 lakhs to 18 lakhs, which is the middle income group 2. And for that, different standards have been set in. Like we give different kinds of the interest subvention for the different group under the credit link subsidy scheme. So we have to first saturate this market. We have to first cater to this market. In fact, the study which was constituted, I mentioned about 2011-12, there was a study by the expert group of the then Planning Commission, now it is Niti Aayog. There, the total gap in housing, the housing was considered to be mostly in this lower income group and the economically weaker section. I mean, out of 100, I just give you the number, 96% was in this group. Balance 4% was for the MIG and HIG, etc. So our focus is to address the requirement of these people. Maybe in a higher group, people have got surplus housing. We have to make sure that the surplus housing comes to the market, and in the market they are available on rental.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, one of the concerns yesterday that was expressed was that in some areas, the locations that have been chosen for affordable housing do not have good connectivity, and that has, not attracted people. Therefore, what is the ministry doing something like making that a condition for funding?
Well, it's already, I mean, that was the expectation from the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana that you have to construct a house for occupation and not for display. So when you have to construct a house for occupation, it has to be in such a place where, I mean, there is a proper transport facility is there, or such facility that is there so that people live there. And I'm sure states have taken care of. I mean, if such a thing has not come to my notice, I widely keep traveling across the country to the different states, different cities, must have traveled plenty of them. I have not come across such, I don't deny that can't be there, but I have not come across so far any such site where this place is not connected or this place is not under development. In fact, most of the places, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, affordable housing under partnership, these have been constructed in such places where you find a lot of people have got, I mean, in the high segment, they have got housing, and this will constitute as a feeder. I mean, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is a very beautifully constructed. I can quote many of them. So they become a very good place to live in.
Yeah, Mr. Mishra, we will send you a note on this. Specifically, there were some concerns raised about some projects on NH4 bypass near Pune, and extended eastern suburbs in Mumbai. But let me go to the next question, sir. And I know this is not an easy question in the sense that another concern that was expressed yesterday was lack of conflicts between the state policies and the central policies. I know it's not an easy subject to deal with, but what are the efforts you are making to ensure that the states are also moving forward to support your missions?
Well, I think I mean, this is not a difficult question. Also, there has been a very positive change over the last 5-6 years. I mean, the states, I mean, but for few, I mean, you may always quote one example or here or there, but majority of the states are right now they're working like a team India. I mean, I find in my ministry, I mean, I run 6 different missions, and in every mission I find that the support by the state, the support by the city is something which was unimaginable few years back. I mean, the dissent would be many because there were a lot of discrimination. But right now, I can say that it is all based on merit. I mean, a state which is doing well, a state city which is doing well, they get their fund, they get their due, and they are promoted. You will find that, I mean, we have instituted so many awards, and the different states and cities, the way the participation itself, the kind of participation, the kind of enthusiasm we see from the states and cities, that is unprecedented. So slowly, I mean, I found that now the cities and states have aligned themselves, and that is why, if that was not the case, the progress won't have been there. I mean, the numbers can speak for themselves how the states have aligned or how the cities have aligned, because they have seen value in it. If you do good in the Fifth Bharat mission, definitely your people are going to be more satisfied. If you do well in the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, your people are going to be more satisfied. If you do well in the Smart City mission, so things, there may be some examples here and there one can quote, but generally, I have found there is a lot of alignment, there is a lot of positive synergy between the states, cities, and the central government.
Mr. Mishra, I asked you earlier about how satisfied you are with performance of private sector. Now my question is, how satisfied are you with performance of financial institutions?
Of the
financial institutions, sir.
So they're doing a lot of good work for us. In fact, when I quoted 16 lakhs houses under credit linked subsidy scheme, this all coming from the banks. This is National Housing Bank, and there is different public sector, private sector bank. You see, under the PM Swanidhi scheme, another scheme which was launched during this is COVID period, that is for the street vendors. The numbers, I mean, one can see, I can just see my mobile and see the latest number there right away. The numbers speak for in last only few months. It's hardly 9 months are over, and see, more than 41.55 lakhs applications have been submitted. More than 24 lakhs applications have been sanctioned, and more than 20 lakhs have been disbursed. So more than 200 crore, 2027 crore has been disbursed to the street vendors. I mean, that clearly speaks of the good work done by the financial institution. I must admire them. I mean, I don't have any. Again, I mean, you may say that there may be a few aberrations here and there, and that's part of life. I mean, everything doesn't go so straight and so smooth as you can think of, but majority are doing good work. And we have got a lot of positive, you see, during the COVID challenges, RBI came out with so many formulations to help the people. In the housing sector, I mean, you all know that what are kind of changes which have been done.
Mr. Mishra, what do you consider as the major challenges that you feel are still perhaps hindering progress?
Right now, you see, the COVID itself has come as a major challenge. I mean, the COVID, it stopped certain work earlier. Again, I said the way people are getting infected, but one has to deal with it. This is something which has come. It will pass off. So this is one challenge. And second is, I think we are working against the time. I mean, we have to complete all this work in the next 1.5 years. 2022 is our time, and we have lost certain time. We have to work with a extra vigor, extra force, and we'll have to keep challenging ourselves. We have to keep challenging ourselves. Challenges will remain, but we have to keep challenging ourselves to deliver, and that's what we are going to do as a ministry.
Okay, sir, there's one comment from Pradeep Sharma. He wants to just make a representation to you that number of affordable housing policies of some states, they don't have sustainable, regulations, sustainability regulations relating to parking and open green. So therefore, there's a danger of creating urban slums. So he just wants you to note that, sir.
No, I couldn't get you. Can you repeat it?
Sir, what he's saying is that some of the states are not putting in regulations regarding open green spaces or parking in affordable housing locations. So therefore, there's a danger of creating slums.
Well, this is a state subject, you see. We have got we generally, I mean, the government of India provides a kind of a framework through the guidelines and through the various advisories. There is we have issued a model guidelines in the year 2016 on the regional development, regional urban development. And they provide the kind of a framework in which whenever you plan a colony, whenever you plan any development, how you plan your development, what kind of activity you should do that. And most of the states, I mean, they have already shared. If there is some specific issue, I will say that you can kindly share it with my ministry. We'll look into it. We'll look into it.
My colleague Atika has a couple of questions as well, sir.
I think I'm getting over with the time, so maybe she can reserve her question for the next time. Okay, I'll give her one.
We'll do that.
One question, and we'll close that. I'll close that.
One
yeah.
question.
Okay, we'll end with the lady.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mishra. Just two small questions. One with respect to the affordable housing rental scheme. You said good response from developer side. Is the Model 2 only going to be on PPP mode?
Yes.
Completely. And how has been the investor interest? Do you expect foreign investors to join in as well in that scheme? Because this is one of the kind scheme in India now.
Well, the foreign investors can always join hands with our local people. I mean, this fund of the foreign fund can flow in coordination or in partnership with our local people. Like this, you see at the Model 2, what we have done is, if there is a vacant place available in the city, and all the places which you have used basically for your senior activity or for your own category, like for example, I'll just give an example that makes it very simple. Say for example, if you have a very good big hospital, why I'm talking hospital, because with the COVID time, it's a big hospital, you have done a multidisciplinary hospital you have created. And you have created some facility for your doctors, some facility for your very high executives. But you have not catered to those who are coming and providing you the cleaning facilities, those who are coming and providing you, say gardening, those who are providing you various kinds of requirements without which you cannot survive, you cannot sustain. So what they do, I mean, these are the basic requirements. What they do, they will find a place next door and then create a slums there. And from that slum, they are compromising on their own quality of life to provide you a better quality of life. When you are in a hospital, then they will provide you a better facility. But for themselves, when they go back home, they are compromised on their own facility. We want to break that. And for that, once this land is available, the vacant land is available, if you give them extra FAR, if you give them certain incentive, they can create a housing which will be the rental housing, and the housing is available at the same rate at which is available the next door. I mean, not that in the slums it is for free. It is also the rental. So if they are getting a rental to 2,500 or something like that, again same rate if you can give it inside, the people are having a more dignified life, and they will provide you all kinds of facilities which is required in the medical institution which is there. The same thing can be told about any other institution. So we have to be sensitive to the requirement of the people who are serving us, and that's what is affordable rental housing complex. It creates an ecosystem wherein you can create this and provide them a very, very good dignified life.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mishra. I will greatly appreciate your being with us, sir. And thank you once again, sir, for a very insightful and very informative session. And good luck as well.
I wish you all the very best for the rest of the day. And if there is any specific issues, please do share with the ministry. All the best.
Yes, please.
And please take care against the COVID challenges. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.